Let's start with the Fed Beige Book, and more importantly, just some of the sentiment that we've seen contained in that report, and I guess how much you think it's in sync with the communication that we've been getting out of the Fed so far.
Well, it's called beige for a reason, because it's usually just a very much a consensus read of the economic data that's actually hitting the wires during the month. It's not like, I mean, it'd be nice to think that all these Fed districts were leaving the office and carefully surveying the subway shop and the taxi drivers to find out what's going on, but they don't. They look at the big numbers. And so what we're seeing are two things really going on at the same time. We are seeing a slowdown in job growth momentum, but we're also seeing subdued inflation. And you know, I think looking at markets today, there's all this fear that, you know, with higher oil prices and the ISM services number looking high, that somehow we're going to have this big bounce in growth and inflation is not going to go away. It's going to go away. I mean, this is a I wouldn't call it a dead cat bounce, but it's an old cat bounce, and this cat's going to have less bounce in it going forward. And I think that the Fed would be very unwise to raise rates again just because of a short-term spike in enthusiasm in the service sector.
Well, the flip side of that, okay, let's say we do sort of buy into this idea that inflation is going away. What does that mean just in generally for economic growth? Is that going to be coupled with an economic slowdown or even a recession?
It may not be. I mean, that's really the whole surprise of this year is last year the Federal Reserve said they were going to be really aggressive at slowing down economic growth in order to kill inflation. Well, guess what? Inflation's dying, but they didn't manage to slow down economic growth. And it really tells you that a lot of the relationships that they've relied on over the years don't really work, and they are in somewhat uncharted territory here. I think there's still a window for a soft landing, but I think they should be very aware of the fact that there is a squeeze play going on consumers.